It shouldn't be about Andy Cohen. It shouldn't be about Bravo. It shouldn't be about the Real Housewives.
True.
It should just be about the ethics of reality TV and what does that do for like our psyche long term, or royalties or whatever.
Meghan, it is great to see you in
Good to see you.
person.
I know.
I know. Welcome.
Thank
Yes,
you.
we were saying before. I feel like every time we've spoken, it's been over Zoom.
It's on
so
Zoom,
it's
yeah,
nice to
but
see you.
it's real.
It's real. It's real now.
You look the same.
So do you.
Thank you.
It's good to see you, and I feel like we haven't spoken in a minute.
Yeah, it's
but
been a
life
minute.
is good, right?
Yeah, life is good. I'm happy.
Good. So new venture, new real estate venture. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, so I got my real estate license a few months ago. I'm kind of like making the shift from mommy influencing. I stopped showing my kids' faces on Instagram about a year ago, and I want to kind of transition and parlay like my influence into real estate because it's always been a passion of mine. So I worked really hard, got my license pretty quickly, and I'm working as a concierge real estate agent. So what that means is that even though I'm licensed in the state of Missouri right now, only Missouri, I can still work with anybody from anywhere in the United States or around the world really by using they use me as the concierge agent, meaning I set them up with an agent in their area, and then they can FaceTime me, call me, text me 24/7, kind of as a sounding board.
I love that.
Just like a second opinion. Should I share this with my agent, or I'm looking at this house, or what do you think? Yeah,
That's a good idea. I love that.
Kind of like a hangout friend, but professional.
Sure, and I'm sure people are like, "Oh, I want to chat with Meghan King."
I hope so. Yeah. So
No, that's
I was
awesome.
working my website today, so that will be launched at the beginning of next week.
That's great. Have you found it more challenging than you thought it would be? Did you?
Yes. It was. If I had known how much dedication it took to get my license, I don't think I would have done it when I did it. But I was already in it, so I just went for it. But yeah, the contracts are so much more intense, and I've moved and bought homes and moved so many times, and I was always thinking, like, just give them the offer. Like, what is the delay? And then I see, what it takes to make up this contract, and I'm like, oh,
now I
no
get it.
wonder we hire real estate agents. Okay, I got this.
Yeah. What's the best part about it?
I think the best part, honestly, for me, is to be able to work with people who are excited about doing their job every day. As a mommy influencer for so many years, I was stuck behind my desk at home in St. Louis every single day, and I just felt uninspired. And so this way, I'm able to, wake up and get dressed every morning and like have more of a schedule. And so it's a nice balance between like a traditional work environment and an entrepreneur.
Yeah, definitely. So why did you want to put the mommy influencer behind you?
I just thought my kids were getting older and they were becoming more of individuals, whereas before I felt like they were extensions of me.
Got it.
And so they don't understand what social media is, especially, my social media with a huge following. And I don't know how that will affect them, if at all. Maybe one would love it, maybe one would hate it. I don't know. But I do know they don't understand the breadth and influence of what that means. So I just felt like I needed to pause on that for a little bit and focus on me. I mean, after all, the kids are going to grow up and move on, right? And I'm still going to be me.
No, that's so true. I think that's so important. And it's important to focus on yourself, because I feel like when you focus on yourself, you're a better mom then, too.
Agreed.
Yeah, definitely. Was that a conscious decision for you, too, to not show their faces anymore?
I don't know. I mean, I still kind of grapple with it a little bit. Like, is this something I want to stick with or not? But the court of public opinion is very judgmental. So, like, if I then decide to show their faces one day, I have to deal with the backlash. Like, I can't make up my mind, or I'm indecisive, or whatever they may say to me. And I don't know if I want to deal with that. I don't have as thick of skin, I think, as I used to. Also, I think people are meaner than they used to be.
Do you find that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Isn't it crazy that people just pick apart every little aspect of your life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't understand. It's mean. It's not like it's not curiosity. It's malicious. A lot of times, not every time.
Sure. And what do you feel like they most kind of come after you for?
I would say like mainly aesthetic stuff, like you have a terrible outfit, or what's going on with your haircut, or like I know you're using a filter, you're a liar, or something like. And I don't use filters.
Sure, yeah.
So usually stuff like that, which is like,
why?
Really? Aren't we trying to like promote like to looking on the inside?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's always something, right?
Yeah,
always something.
That's okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great people too, and that's what makes it worthwhile for me.
You're writing a book as well?
I am.
Yeah.
Yes. I've been working on a book for a little bit,
Okay.
and so we're kind of it's out there. It's being shopped. So
That's
we'll see
great.
what
What's
happens.
it about?
It's about me.
Okay.
It's more of a memoir about how to overcome adversity. Or how I overcame adversity, I should say. I'm no expert, but I do know that I was in several traumatic situations, and I feel happy, and I feel like I'm on the other side, and so I want to share that.
Definitely. So how do you feel you got on the other side? Like you said, you've been through a lot.
I think the number one thing for me is I shut off all the noise and negativity in my life, and it wasn't a conscious decision on my part. I just didn't have the bandwidth to deal with anything extra. So this was about when COVID hit. So I turned off the news, and I only would allow like the negativity in my life that I couldn't avoid, right? I was going through a divorce. My child had some health issues, and so I couldn't avoid those things. But when those things did like get manageable or start to go away, then I realized my life was a lot more peaceful because I cut out all the other noise. And so for me, I think that was hugely instrumental in being able to like come on the other side with a smile on my face.
Right. Do you feel like a lot lighter?
So much lighter, yes. Like truly lighter,
When did you feel like you were able to make that switch to kind of turn off that negativity? Did something happen to kind of like spark that for you?
Yeah, for me, I mean, it was when my ex-husband and I initially split.
Yeah.
And that was, it was very public, and it was nasty and public, and that's not a healthy way to deal with, I don't think, with any sort of traumatic situation in one's life. And yet, and it came on really quickly too. So I'm like, how do I like deal with this and raise the kids and deal with COVID and my kids, you know, health issues? There's just a lot all at once.
No, I feel like, I mean, working here, I felt like every single day we were seeing something kind of new play out. But I feel like over the last few months, it's kind of died down a little bit. Is that true? Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's by design a little bit. I was, you know, I don't want to be that like drama person in the news all the time. That's really not who I am either. And so I'm a sophisticated professional mother and real estate agent and influencer and entrepreneur, and I want to be able to showcase that, even if it means me not being in the press as much. That's a positive thing for me.
Sure, yeah. So in the press, everything is good. Behind the scenes, how are things with you and Jim?
Oh, things they're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
We've come a long way.
You've come a long way.
Yes.
Okay. That's great.
Thank you.
So where are we in like custody issues? 'Cause
Yeah.
I think the last time you spoke out, there was like trying to figure out whether or not it was 50-50, if it was still 80-20. Where are we kind of there?
Yeah, so we're
for that?
splitting custody right now, and yes, things seem to be good. I gave my kids Apple IDs, which you can do, by the way. Like you can still be kind of the mom, and they can have an Apple ID that's totally restricted.
Okay.
And so by doing that, now I'm able to FaceTime with them and communicate when they're with their dad. So it's been smoother sailing, but I think it's also because they're older too.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, life stages change. You know, situations too. So. Yeah, but I mean, as long as we're co-parenting, that's the ultimate thing that really matters.
No, definitely. Are you co-parenting in a way where the two of you communicate, or are you still communicating through?
We're working on it.
Good.
Yeah, there's been progress.
Good. Did you ever feel like you would kind of get to that point? 'Cause
Never.
Never.
Not in a million years. Yeah. And we still have a ways to go, but I'm confident that that we'll get there.
Yeah. Is he confident as well? You feel like you both are kind of on the same page?
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so.
That's good.
Yeah.
And what about he and what about his wife? Or do you,
yeah,
the two
so
of you?
she seems to be involved in my children's lives, and there's I mean, we're not like going out for happy hour, right? But yeah, I view her as a positive influence in my children's lives, and stable, and so I'm grateful for that.
That's great. And the kids are doing good.
Yeah, they're all great and wild and crazy
right.
and in school, and they have their own set of, you know, issues that just comes along with, you know, 5 and 6 and 7-year-olds.
Sure.
But
no, definitely.
It's all normal.
It's all normal stuff.
Yeah.
I know. I think you said last year that Hart was having a hard time in school.
He was.
How is he transitioning this year?
So I pulled him out of private school. He was in private school,
Mm-hmm.
and now he's in public school kindergarten full time. And it almost makes me emotional with how positive of a change this was for him.
Mm-hmm.
He is in such a good space. The staff and the teachers have been they've jumped through hoops to make sure that he's accommodated and his needs are being met.
Mm-hmm.
And he is the happiest little boy. He lights up every day when he goes to school.
That's
he talks
great.
about his teachers. I mean, again, I couldn't imagine that I would be telling you this today from where I was this time last year.
I'm sure that makes you feel so good and such a sigh of relief too.
Yeah, and it also allows me to be able to focus my attention that was before I focused on like dealing with what am I going to do with my kid with school. Now I can take that time and focus on my career and earn a living for my children.
Yeah. No, that's so wonderful.
You know, it's all, I mean, because it all has to balance somehow.
Yeah. How's he doing health-wise?
Great.
Good.
Yes,
Good.
yes, he's amazing. I mean, he just runs and plays like any other kid. You would have no idea that he, you know, it took a little longer for him to learn how to walk.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's so wonderful.
Yeah.
How do you kind of shield your kids from everything that kind of goes on in your life when it comes to co-parenting and things like that? Or has this become just the norm for them because it happened when they were so young?
Yeah, I think that, so this is kind of funny. One time they saw a picture of me and their dad like on a wedding day or something like that.
Right.
And they said to me, Mom, you know our dad?
Oh no, really?
So they don't remember.
Right, they don't remember.
No,
Yeah.
so this, which I kind of think is a blessing for them. They have nothing to compare it to. This is always what they've known. And so in that way, I think like they understand that, you know, there's, you know, some differences in the way that the different households parent. And I think they're starting to use it to their advantage.
Sure,
they're becoming a little smarter.
They're
you know?
very smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, like mom lets me do this, dad lets me do that.
Which is why it's important to have like the co-parenting on the same page so we could be like, I see what you're doing. You're not going to manipulate this.
Yeah. Have you, like, because you say your kids were when, oh, you know dad. Have you all been in the same room together since your split?
I don't think we have. No.
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 Are you hoping that maybe at some point that you can get there? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's only for the sake of the kids.
Right.
It's not like I'm trying to be besties with anybody.
Sure, no.
But I think that there's a big difference between friendship and allyship.
Yep.
And allyship, you can be aligned in the same purpose and goal, and you don't even have to like the person.
Sure, yeah.
But you are like, it's almost stronger than I think a friendship, because a friendship could be like, you know, you connect on A, B, X, Y, Z, whatever.
Yeah.
But in allyship, you are both in the same boat and like totally focused on this, like the same general outcome.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm hoping that we are starting to achieve. And I have hope that like we can be in that same room of allish, like that ally room. You know?
Yeah, no, and I'm sure that would be so beneficial for your kids too.
Yeah.
Celebrate birthdays and things like that together. I think that's great.
Yeah, I think they would feel a lot lighter to see that.
Definitely.
You know, the two people they love in their life the most, you know, we're together and not hating each other.
Right, and it seems like you're almost there, so I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
I can't remember where you said it. Maybe it was on Instagram, but you said like at one point that I really miss or wish I had that nuclear family. Do you still wish that, or do you? Are you, now that you've kind of come out on the other side, are you almost not happy the way things turned out, but like it's made you into who you are today?
Yeah, I was just talking about this the other day. I do miss the nuclear family idea. You know, that theoretically it sounds really nice. And I think it is really nice. My parents are still married, and it was nice to grow up like that.
Sure.
But again, my children don't know the difference, so they're not going to mourn something they never even knew would exist for them. And so because of that, it's sort of made me change my mindset. I'm sort of shifting. But initially, when I first split with my ex, I was thinking, oh, I want to like get remarried and maybe have another baby so I can have that nuclear family. But now I'm like, I have these amazing 3 kids. My career is taking off. Like, this is fine. Like, life is good. So no, I don't want the nuclear family anymore. I want the future, like, you know, it's full steam ahead.
I think that's great.
Thanks.
That is awesome. Is reality TV totally behind you?
I don't know that I would want to put my life out there in the same sort of capacity.
Sure.
But never say never. Again, that's another thing that I'm just open to possibilities, you know? I'm not trying to like put myself in any sort of box.
Yeah. Do you miss it at all?
Yeah, a little bit. But more than that, I think I miss living in like a major city like LA.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm in New York. I miss living in New York. I've never lived in New York. But I you know, it's nice to feel the energy and the rush of a city. That St. Louis is more of a place to raise children and settle down, and it's a wonderful place. But I kind of associate TV with LA, and I miss that.
Yeah. I mean, even though you're not on the show anymore, you're still making waves, because I know Alexis kind of came back and was not so happy with some of the things that you said about John. Have the two of you spoken since then?
Well, she was upset with me. But the thing is, I love Alexis. I think she's a great chick.
Yeah.
And I don't blame her for defending her boyfriend, as she should.
Yeah.
And I don't blame her for feeling passionately about defending her boyfriend. I'm a little disappointed, I think, in myself and my delivery because it clearly upset her in a big way that she made public. But I mean, I told her happy birthday and that I still love her and I still think she's a baddie. Yeah. So, yeah.
Did she respond?
No.
That's
okay. You know, she's got to process whatever. But I just, I love Alexis and I have nothing bad to say about her.
Do you still feel like John is love bombing her though?
I'm not going to comment on that because it's not my business.
Sure.
You know, I did my due diligence as a friend and I said, well, you know, these are the things I see publicly. I don't know him. I don't know your relationship, but this is what it looks like. And she's like, that you're wrong. And I said, okay, and that's that.
Yeah.
So I don't have an opinion.
Yeah. I know you're still friends with Shannon, though, too.
Yeah.
How's she doing kind of navigating filming with Alexis, who is now dating her ex? It's got to be weird.
I mean, I think Shannon she's elevated her spirit, I think. So I think this is the season for Shannon to kind of show her fun, bubbly personality and how she can, kind of marry that with her independence. Shannon has so much to offer, so I'm excited. No, I'm not worried about any of the drama with Alexis or John because I think she's totally moved on and gonna seek better things in life.
Good
bigger
for her.
and better.
Yeah, it feels like obviously she had some things that happened to her with the DUI and everything, but it seems like she's kind of turned a corner. And
we've all had disappointments in our life, some bigger than others, but we just talked about one of my disappointments and where it's gotten me today. So I hope that, I know that Shannon will also do the same.
Yeah, no, sometimes you got to kind of hit the bottom to come back up, definitely.
It's so embarrassing publicly, so embarrassing. All of it, but that's what comes with being in the public eye. Right,
totally. I know that Bravo has been in the news lately because of this lawsuit that has come forward with Leah McSweeney against Andy Cohen. Do you have an opinion on any of that? And
I mean, I just know that when I signed my contract to be on The Real Housewives, and I think it's a pretty standard contract amongst all the franchises, it said very explicitly, we can take, whatever footage you give us and we can manipulate it and we can splice it and do whatever the hell we want to do with it. And you have to sign your life away or you don't sign it at all.
Yeah.
And does that make it a fair contract? That's a different conversation. The point is we understood, we signed the contract and we're entering into this. And I think and I want it to remain fun and exciting, and I'm worried that might go away with a lawsuit like this. But if there's a bigger conversation, then the conversation should be about reality TV in general. It shouldn't be about Andy Cohen. It shouldn't be about Bravo. It shouldn't be about The Real Housewives. Sure. It should just be about the ethics of reality TV and what does that do for our psyche long term, or royalties or whatever. But this is not an individual conversation, and that makes me a little bit frustrated.
Yeah. Did you ever feel pressured to drink on camera or do things like that?
I think the pressure with drinking is the typical societal and peer pressure that anyone would encounter with drinking. If I'm going to go to a happy hour with girlfriends to celebrate a birthday, I'm going to feel like I should have a drink, right?
Yep.
Is anybody telling me to? Does anybody care if I do? Absolutely not. Yeah. But that's what I'm doing. That's how I'm showing up. So I think that's a personal willpower type of thing.
Right.
And people struggle with addiction, and that's a very serious issue that should be respected and honored and helped. If somebody is asking for help through that, but that's not the responsibility of production team or reality TV or anyone, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, and Andy Cohen was a great boss to you.
Yeah. He's a St. Louis guy too.
Right, that's true. Yes.
So we both come from St. Louis. Yeah, Andy was great. I mean, he was always very supportive and fun and happy. Honestly, so when I was on Watch What Happens Live the last time, this was, I don't know, a year ago, let's say, or less.
Sure.
I was on with Gina from The Real Housewives of Orange County, and we were doing the shot ski. It was Andy, Gina in the middle, and me. We take the shot, and Andy's like, oh my gosh, this is not my shot. I'm saying the same thing. And the shot ski was switched around. And Gina said, well, thank goodness my Red Bull was still the same because she was in the middle. Yeah. And Andy goes, oh my gosh. And then during commercial, he like gets on the production assistants like, you cannot do this. This could compromise her sobriety. Like, this is really important. Like, it's not funny that this happened. So what I saw is Andy defending, you know, or like standing up for a sober person on one of his shows. It's complete opposite of what I read.
Of what you read. No, that's so. Do you feel like there should be more, maybe tools in place for women on these shows, though, when it comes to mental health and, you know, the social media backlash that everybody is now facing? And because, you know, like you said, everybody has an opinion. Do you feel like there should be more tools for the women, though?
I mean, okay, so I think this is the bigger conversation, that we're entering into. When I had my podcast, Intimate Knowledge, with iHeartRadio, I interviewed a few people from Love is Blind. Yeah. And that was a big deal for them. Totally. They felt like they were totally, you know, just disregarded and their mental health was just nothing as far as the production team was concerned. And so I think it would have been nice for them or anyone to have, here's a list of resources if you need them. Or maybe there's some sort of like collective group or organization where like reality stars are automatically a part of, where they can go for resources or support groups or whatever. But like, again, not the conversation with, you know, the lawsuit.